Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Sunday. I know my background looks a little bit different. I'm normally in my office when I shoot my videos, or I'm in the grocery store reading labels and coming to you in that kind of capacity, or out and about touring a farm or doing something fun like that. So I'm home today, and the reason I'm coming to you from home is because I needed to shoot this video. So I have never been in a car accident until today. And in my 56 years on this planet, it's always been, I'm always like, hey, never been in a car accident. Now, to be fair, when I was 19 years old, I was driving and I was waiting to turn left out onto traffic and a bus backed into me. So yes, that was an accident, but I didn't quite consider the bus backing into me as like something that I was doing negligent or deliberately. So yes, I was in my first car accident today, and it was weird. And I wanted to talk to you about this because so many of you have been in car accidents, minor fender benders, which is what I was in today. And the interesting thing is that typically when I talk to patients, they're like, oh, I was in a minor fender bender, or you forget that you were in these minor fender benders. And you go, it was no big deal. I didn't go to the hospital. I wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt. The airbags didn't go off. But I want to tell you about my experience today, because I think that this is going to shed light on what happens to you in a car accident, whether it's a minor fender bender or something a little bit more severe. So today, it was snowing outside. There's a lot of snow. I don't know if you can't see my front window there, but there was a lot of snow. There was it was very icy. It was light snow, and they said on the weather forecast it was going to be just enough to be annoying. So I decided today that because Sunday morning I always go to yoga, and my favorite instructor who was subbing today was going to be there. So I was like, I'm going to Birmingham to go to yoga. Now, it's about a 30-minute drive for me on a good day. But I knew, so I left, 15 minutes early because I knew, I'm just going to take my time getting there. So I decided anyway, in light of the weather, I was going to make the trek to go to yoga because my favorite instructor was teaching. Now, it wouldn't have mattered because I'll tell you what happened. So I go to yoga, have an incredible class. It was great to see Sam. She's just amazing, just fills you just with so much positivity, and you feel amazing when you leave there, and it's hot yoga and it's vinyasa, so it's very intense. So I felt like I really nourished my body. And as I'm driving there, I kept telling myself, you're just gonna take your time getting home. You're gonna drive slowly, you're gonna take your time getting home. And that's what I did. So I get to yoga, have this great class, and I get in the car and I come home, and I literally got like 30 seconds from my house. Literally. I'm coming into the neighborhood, and our neighborhood is notorious for having icy intersections, and I know this. So I'm pulling into the sub, and there's a yield sign at this one intersection, and I know it's going to be icy, and I'm creeping along, but I got close, and I could not stop. It was literally a sheet of ice. And I start going through the intersection. Now, normally, our streets are pretty empty. There's not a whole lot of people driving on them because we have a very quiet sub. And in the grand scheme of things, normally, I would have just gone into the ditch in the neighbor's front yard. No big deal. But my neighbor happened to be coming this way. So I'm coming this way, I'm sliding through the intersection, I can't stop, and I see her, and she can't stop either. And she's coming this way, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to hit her front quarter panel. Okay, I'm literally calculating how this accident was going to take place. And I'm going, okay, I'm going to hit her front quarter panel. Well then, and she's looking at me, she's trying to stop, she's trying to get out of my way, I can't stop, I can't turn the car because I'm just sliding, and I was probably going 5 miles an hour. Wasn't much, but just enough to make it slide. She was probably doing about the same. So as she's coming along, and I'm sliding this way, and I'm thinking I'm going to hit her front quarter panel, and she turns her vehicle like this. And in my head, I go, oh my God, I'm going to hit her inner door. Now, I'm only going about 5 miles an hour. But the problem is, when I went into this like massive fight or flight, because I'm like, I'm going to hit this woman in her door. I'm going to gravely injure her. Like, that's just what you think of, right? I'm trying not to hurt anybody. But as I'm sliding through and she's pulling and she's trying to protect herself, I'm trying to get out of the way, couldn't, and that was it. And I T-boned her. And thank God it was fine, right? So thank God we walked away. So this is what most of us think of. Minor fender bender. It was no big deal. Walked away. Her airbags didn't deploy. Mine didn't either. But man, that noise, if you've been in a car accident, go ahead and drop it in the comments. That noise, how frightening is that? I mean, the noise itself was like, oh my God. But as I'm going towards her door, all the things that were going through my mind about what I was going to have to do on an emergency level to save her life. Like, I killed her in my brain, right? I mean, I know it sounds terrible, but it was like, I just didn't want to have this level of crisis. So I'm sliding, I hit her, I get out, and then I look, and I tell her, I go, actually, I'm going to move my car, because if anybody else comes around the corner, they're going to slide right into me. Now, she goes, just come over to the house. And I go, okay, because she's my neighbor, so I know where she lives. So I get in my car, and I go creeping, because then I go to another intersection that is even worse for ice. And as I start making the turn, now I have my foot on the gas. The car is, it's accelerating, but it's doing its own thing, but I have my foot on the gas to control the speed. That's how slow I was going to go to the next turn. And I started sliding, and I went, like, I couldn't make the turn, and my car just like right into the neighbor's front yard, down into the ditch, that much. If I'd have gone anymore, I probably would have needed a tow truck. So I was able to back up. I go to her house, look at her, I took out the whole, because I hit her front quarter panel, and then she was sliding, and I was sliding, and it was the whole side. But thankfully, her door still works. The front left quarter panel of my car is cracked to shit. Like, I can't believe the damage. It's such a low speed. Now, here's the beauty of your vehicle breaking apart when you're in an accident, is it does take the stress off of you. You have what are called crumple zones when they build cars, and they're designed for impact. So crumple zones take the impact off of you, the human. However, now I know all of this intuitively, right? And I also, prior to that impact, in my head, I was thinking to myself, okay, be very mindful of what's going to happen to your body. I literally was having this out-of-body experience. And I was thinking, okay, like, be mindful of your head, your shoulders, your arms. I was actually pretty relaxed, and I knew I was going to hit her. I didn't brace up, but when I hit, I was like, oh, your head didn't go like that. But it had to have, right? Because I was literally going, 3 to 5 miles an hour, and then came to an abrupt stop. So I had to have some kind of impact. So I go to her house, and I'm talking to her and her husband, and, like, okay, everybody's okay, that's cool. And, are you okay? You okay? And I'm like shaken up, because I had that built up in my head, because, she was just moving, I was just moving. I didn't like where I was going to hit her. So it was a major fight or flight for me. So I was shaky. I immediately had a little bit of a headache, and I had a stomach ache. So, these things happen to us. So yeah, you think to yourself, well, I was in a car accident. However, it was only a minor fender bender. No big deal. I walked away. However, what is happening to you on a microscopic level, those levels of stress, I have to tell you, I'm still feeling it. Now, my whole left side of my head and neck is actually tight and sore. And I was going 3 to 5 miles an hour. So when you downplay, I was in a minor fender bender, you've got to take into consideration the stress, the fight or flight that you were in when that happened. Because tomorrow, like I'm gonna, probably gonna take a bath tonight, Epsom salt bath. I'm gonna stretch my neck out. I'm gonna try to go to bed early, get a good night's sleep. I'm drinking tons of water. I'm gonna take some electrolytes. I'm gonna take some calcium, some magnesium, anything that would help relax my muscles, which I recommend you do as well, because I don't know what my sleep is going to be like tonight. Is my sleep going to be disrupted? That was a major stressful event. So if you've been in a minor fender bender, and I'm going like this, minor fender bender, you think it's no big deal, but you have to take into consideration what it does to you mentally, emotionally, and how it affects your nervous system when you're in that, right? So I had major stress hormones released through my body. When those start to get flushed out, which, they're already moving their way out, right? I'm past the stressful event. However, stressful events like that, they raise blood sugar. They raise inflammatory markers. Your body is ready to heal itself. It's ready to like send out inflammation to heal any injuries from accidents. Your stress hormones, when they go up, it affects your ability to think, to focus. And so it's not just this simple, oh, I walked away and I was fine. You've got to make sure that you are taking care of yourself post even what you think is a minor accident or an injury. I mean, heck, even if you slip and fall on the ice and you're like, oh, it's no big deal, I'm fine. No, that was a stressful event. You've got to take care of yourself. One stressful event is enough to raise blood sugar for 2 weeks. It's massive what your body goes through metabolically. I have a dear friend of mine whose daughter, this was many years ago, her daughter was in a severe car accident. Thank God today she's fine. But in that accident that she had gone, I think she went like through the window or something, but it literally like ripped off the skin of her face. So when my friend showed up at the accident scene, she almost passed out. I mean, you can't even imagine. That's your kid. What would that be like? And she immediately, like that, became diabetic. So your body is incredible with what it is able to help you handle, but it also can have a massive impact when you have a stressful event and you don't manage it properly, or you're just not really sure. You're not paying attention to it. Not saying my friend wasn't paying attention to it. However, these are just things that, I want you to be able to pay attention to so that you don't end up with some more serious metabolic things going on. These stressful events also, they change your gut bacteria because they push inflammation, they push blood sugar, and your gut bacteria responds to that. So the first thing I did when I got home after that, besides drink a ton of water and take some electrolytes, and I'm going to take more of that now, is I took probiotics and I took my fish oil because fish oil helps with inflammation. And the probiotic, I could already feel it in my belly. I knew my belly was starting to get affected. So that's my story. I was in my first real car accident today, and it didn't feel great, and it was low impact, and it affected me. I feel it. Again, my belly still hurts. I get a little bit of a headache, and my whole right side is just tense and tight. So it's time for an Epsom salt bath for this mama so that I can get my body healed. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get adjusted. Now, I would like to say I could go get adjusted tomorrow, but I'm not going to be able to do that until Wednesday because, again, just that impact, the physical stress, the emotional stress, and then the chemical stress from what happened metabolically has affected my nervous system. So when I go to the chiropractor to get adjusted, it's going to help to correct some of that and rebalance and calm my nervous system for me. I have a good friend of mine who says he's coming by my office. He's a chiropractor. Says he's coming by on Tuesday he wants to do some nutritional things with me. He's going to pick up a test kit, and he's like, I'll be by on Tuesday. And I go, yeah, like you always say you're going to and then blow me off. Anyway, so I'm hopeful I'll get adjusted Tuesday if he stops by my office. If he sees this video, then I'm just going to say, you can't blow me off now. This is on YouTube. So, but either way, I'm going to be at the chiropractor on Wednesday getting adjusted. I'll be back there on Friday. I'm going to make sure I take care of my nervous system, take care of my body, lots of fluids, lots of electrolytes, lots of magnesium, calcium, things that are going to calm my nervous system. So I hope this was helpful. If you are ever, and even what you think is the most minor of injuries, you've got to still take care of your nervous system. Your body will react in a negative way if you do not take care of it. So I hope that was helpful. If you were in an accident or you had some kind of similar experience in a low impact, please let me know. Drop that in the comments. And as always, I sure appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to this channel because you're helping me grow each and every video at a time. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you on the next one. And I'm so glad you're here today. So enjoy this. Talk to you soon.